Hey everybody, that was the band, the New 11. There's a link in the description below. That's Pumpkin Man vs. Squash. That music was recorded for our children's book app. We've done a children's book called The House on Haunted Hollow. Links down below. We have a hard copy book, soft cover. We also have a Amazon version and a Google version or Android version. We don't have an iOS version this year. I hate to say that, but we will have an iOS version hopefully here soon. And if not here soon, hopefully we'll have it ready for next year. It took us quite a few months to get the Android version together. There's only 2 of us working on the app itself. There's 3 of us all together working on these projects, but there was 2 of us actually creating the art assets and the coding. So it took us quite a few months. We got it together. If we had more months, if we were better prepared, we would have had the iOS launch with the Android. But it will happen. So stay tuned for that. For anybody that has iOS phones. So yeah, that was the new 11. A link to their YouTube page is in the description below. I'm Mr. Fox with Mr. Fox Books and Custom Comic Strips, and I'm coming to you live with another episode of Animation Imagination, or Animation Funimation, whichever one you'd prefer. I haven't quite decided. Maybe we vote on it. Maybe you guys let me know. So I realized I've been working for probably about the past going on 3 hours now. And I did say that I would show you guys me finishing this up. And I do apologize. I actually thought I was recording and totally got lost in my own art. And I was having an awesome time getting this project finished up here and totally forgot I wasn't recording. So I do apologize. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot of anything new. It was a lot of cleanup work, and that can get kind of boring to watch. So it was kind of good that I screwed that up. So, but right now what I'm doing is doing the finishing touches up on the DeLorean. My character's done. We've got a couple things we got to work on this illustration before I consider it done. Let's see. I want to say this, guys. I am not a perfectionist per se when it comes to my art anymore. I used to nitpick every little detail and everything like that, but nothing in this world is perfect. So it's actually the imperfections are what make it look more believable, and so I don't really fuss with that. Now what I do fuss with, you see what I'm doing here, I'm making sure there's none of this white coming through. I have to put white behind it because I'm using watercolor brushes and they are see-through, so I have to put color down behind it, and I don't want any of this white showing through. So I will take the time and be slightly perfection oriented when it comes to this finished work, but when I'm in creating, inking, coloring, I really don't fuss with it too much. I know some artists, some younger artists, they get caught up in trying to make the most perfect line or the most perfect shade or whatever, and 2 hours goes by and they're still working on one little section. What they should do is just say, wow, that makes my art look better. I should just leave it be. Anyway, so there's a couple things we're going to work on here before finalizing. Now, I could have gone into a lot more detail on the DeLorean, added the lights so there's a light here on the side of the door. The door is kind of shaped a little bit different than this. The headlights are split in two. There are turn signal lights in the front and on the sides. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I mean, we could put more instrument boxes up here if I remember in the movie, and references on Google. But this is my version of fun, right? This is my illustration, so it's there, it's believable enough, and I didn't feel like I should have to go into too much detail. So yeah, it looks great. I think it looks great. Let's see. Alright, so the DeLorean's done. My character's done. As you can see, these layers are kind of offset a little bit. What I'd like to do is put them in groups. In case I have to hide a character or anything, I can, turn the group on and off, just like that. keeps everything better organized. I also make sure I try to label everything as best as I can. Sometimes I'm in a hurry and I don't, and sometimes that's not a good thing, because what ends up happening is I spend a couple minutes trying to find the layer I need, and it's just better to keep things organized. So yeah, so here we go. We're gonna get finished up here. So I think what we're gonna do, this is what I had in mind. Maybe have Back to the Future here. I have to find Back to the Future font. I may have that. I want to do maybe some. I gotta maybe fade or feather this edge. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is maybe put puddles. Maybe it just rained. I don't know. I'm kind of creating an atmosphere here, right? What I'm trying to do is create a reflection in those puddles, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So let's go ahead and first things first, I would say let's go ahead and try to feather this edge as best as we can. To me, it's too sharp of an edge. Between, I guess you could call that the night sky. It's really it was just a fun experiment, I guess, if you want to call it that. Let's see. Stay with the watercolor brush. And no, we're not going to do that. Let's go ahead and get a feathered brush. Drop the flow to 30% range, opacity down to the 30% range. Make this to normal instead of multiply. Bump this up here. And we will worry about that here in a second. So, okay, I'm not liking that. I'm trying to think of a great way to feather this edge. Let's see. Let's bring the flow and opacity up. Yeah, that's just not going to work. I mean, that's not too bad, but it's too dark, I think. So let's switch to that kind of gray. Now that's too light. Oh boy. Let's try that color. See, now that's not bad, but we don't have that texture going on. So, should have thought of that. I got an idea, guys. Got an idea. And gals. Sorry. Forget, there's all kinds of walks of life watching this channel. Alright, so let's do this. I got a different idea here. Let's go ahead and delete that layer because we're not using it right now. You could always add another layer at some point. So what we're going to do is we are going to... I don't want to merge these layers yet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab the rectangle marquee tool here and select that, and then to go into filter, blur, and I mean, we could do a Gaussian blur. See, it already seems to have worked really well. You can see it's not as sharp of a line. That's not bad. So let's hit OK on that, and then go ahead and do this one as well. Blur, Gaussian blur, hit OK, and I think that'll be good enough. That'll be good enough. So that answered my question on how I'm going to best smooth out that line. You could use the blur tool right here. I could have used that, but I used a quicker method, I think. Okay, so let's see. I'm not worried about the font yet. And I'm not worried about the puddles. What we need to do is shadows. Shadows and highlights. So we'll call this shadow 1, shadow layer 1, or just shadow 1. I know it's a layer. And this is where we are going to feather out. Now, some people would say don't do what I'm about to do here. They would say take the eyedropper tool, select the color, and make that the shadow color as opposed to solid black, right? And 90% of the time I would agree with that, because that way it's not as harsh. And what I mean is, let's see, we pick that, you pick a different value, and you go in, and it just helps do a subtle shadow. So I guess it just depends on how much of a definitive shadow you want. And I may just do the eyedropper. It just it looks better. Let's see. But the only problem is, and here's the problem. The only problem is that you're going to want maybe a shadow layer for each color. So that's going to get to be pretty big group there of shadows. What you could do is maybe not do solid black, but more in the grayish, or starting to get up into the grayish range. And that way you only have one shadow layer, and that's it. And now it looks a little dirtier. It's not as subtle, or it's not as clean looking. It's I guess I want to say it's gonna be more personal preference, to be honest with you, on how you want to do your shadows. I'm going to go in here and just use the black for now, and if I don't like it, I'll change it, to be honest with you. Okay. But this way, it allows me to only have one layer for shadows. Now, normally I would have probably multiple layers for highlights, because what you want is like fill light. You want an accent light. I'm trying to think of different lights that I've learned in school. When I went to Full Sail University, I took 3D animation classes. I did really well. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish my education there because I couldn't get the funding to continue my second, third, and technically it's a 3-year, but the way they have it broken down, it's like a 4-year. Anyway, I would have got a Bachelor of Science in computer animation. I was going into my second year with a 3.5 grade point average, and that was the best I've ever done in school. Partially because I really enjoyed what they were teaching there. They had a lot of great teachers. Now, some of you that have gone there that have had a bad experience, I can only speak from my experience, and I had a good experience up till the funding part, and even they even went out on a limb and asked the dean if they could do a special exception so they could get me in on the second year. Now some of you would be like, yeah, they wanted your money, or they wanted the government's money, and okay, I don't know if they're for profit. Most colleges are. Even the state colleges, guys and gals. Every college out there is for profit. And I hate to say that. Nowadays, it is. They've got such a big overhead that they got to worry about. And really, what they need to worry about is the education that they're giving. Not that they don't. Don't misquote me now. They do care about it, but I've heard a lot of horror stories. I've seen a lot of bad things happen to a lot of great kids and adults, of course, too. And it's just really sad. And I know, like, those are rare circumstances, but it seems like it's not as rare as it used to be. And you know, and that's kind of why I say most colleges are for profit, because really they look at you as a number, and I don't mean like a number as in you know, we're just a faceless number in society. They look at us as a number, a paycheck, right? They've got to pay their employees. They got to pay their salaries and stuff like that, and you know, and that's fine. But I don't know. I don't know where I'm getting on a tangent, and I don't want to get on a tangent right now. What I'm trying to do is just enjoy creating this art, and I don't want to. I don't want to get into any kind of political views or anything like that. I want to try to keep this channel as unpolitical, unbiased as I possibly can. Now, it's going to be hard sometimes, but we'll do our best. Anyway, so what was I saying? Something about Full Sail. Yeah. So part of the animation classes they were teaching us different lighting techniques with some of the, like one of the classes that we took was preparing a scene, just a still image of, you know, maybe they took a screen grab from a short film that somebody created, and you had to like recreate the scene or recreate. I don't like that hand shadow. It's too muddy. Let's do this. So anyway, and part of the classes, they were teaching us how to properly light a scene, and what I mean by that is when they mean properly light a scene, it's how to make it to where it's more engaging, more appealing to the eye, more believable. I mean, there's so many things there, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm this know-it-all, and you guys already know I'm kind of babble on quite a bit, but anyway, so they teach us how to light a scene, and that's kind of what we're gonna be doing here. Is I'm going to do my best to show you guys how I would light this scene, and then you guys can take that for what it is and hopefully incorporate it into some of your illustrations. Or if you're a photographer and you're watching this, or just about anything really, I mean, anything that you would use to light your scenes, and it doesn't have to be in an illustration, it could be just in life in general. You know, I don't know. Like I said, if you're a photographer or I don't know, videographer, but a lot of you that are in that profession already learned a lot of that in the schooling. Anyway, I'm going to continue on drawing and a little less babbling. So what I'm going to be doing is just creating some depth in this scene by adding a little bit of shadow here and there, and then adding a little highlight here and there, and that's going to create a lot of depth. And some of you could probably see that right now, how it's starting to come out, and some of you may be able to see it when we get further along in the illustration. Okay, so I think we're going to do two different shadows, one for the main character here, which is myself. You couldn't already tell. And then one for the car. So zooming out, you could see just that little amount of highlight, or excuse me, shadow, has really made the illustration pop. Give it some depth. Make the character look more real as possible without taking it too hyper realistic. Whatever. We're doing character illustration here, so it's not like I'm doing realism. Alright, shadow number 2. Okay, this is for the car, the DeLorean. Alright, let's just zoom in here. A lot of, not a lot, there's a good number of people that like to illustrate this far out, and that's fine. I'm not that type of artist. I like to get right in on the illustration. I like to see where I put my color down. You gotta know where you've been to know where you're going. And I don't know who said that. Somebody important, somebody famous said that, and some of you are gonna be like, what an idiot. Yeah, well, I'm not good with names. I'm not good at remembering music, songs, artists. I'm not good at remembering a lot of that stuff. So anyway, so I know where I've been in this illustration. And I know where I'm going with it. So every once in a while you'll see me zoom out, but I won't normally zoom out until I'm done with the whole car, maybe just a certain area. I do zoom out. I'm not saying don't zoom out and take a big look at the whole picture, but for me, I like to be zoomed in. I like to be right on in there. I like to see where I'm laying my colors at, because if it looks great up close, it's gonna look even better at a distance. Let's bump that up. There we go. So anybody watching right now taking any art classes? Are you guys taking college classes? Are you in high school taking art classes? If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I mean, I may not know all the answers, but I definitely will point you in the right direction. And I will answer your questions as best as I can. I know growing up, I had a lot of questions about being an artist and, what needed to be done for me to be successful, and didn't necessarily have the right support structure to answer those questions. Now, I did have some high school teachers that were amazing at pointing me in the art class in the right direction. With a lot of the stuff we were learning and what we wanted to be. But, there's just so much more stuff out there, and it's hard for teachers sometimes to kind of narrow down to a specific thing, because they're there to teach more broad or general, unless you're taking a class that's more specific to a certain style or genre or whatever. I had a lot of questions, and I didn't really have a way to ask anybody. I mean, I live in Ohio, and there's not really a lot of, well, at least when I graduated high school, there wasn't a lot of potential here. There's starting to be more, but it's still a tough road for anybody that wants to be a graphic designer, illustrator, animator, game concept artist, whatever you want to be that revolves around art. Just feel free to ask, and I'll point you in the right direction. No question is a dumb question. have a feeling doing the shadow for the car is going to take forever. It's alright though. Soften that up a little bit. Darker line to simulate somewhat of a reflection, I guess. Alright. I am going to zoom out on that just to see how that one's going. Looks like it's pretty good, so just enough. Doesn't have to be over the top. We will put a shadow in here, and we will do a highlight in here. You're not going to really be able to see it. I can barely see it, but it is there. Starting to break up that texture. Let's see, I may have to go a little bit darker. Let's go a little bit darker. There we go. Just on the wheels anyway. Go a little bit darker here, just to help with making that wheel make it look three-dimensional, or a little bit more three-dimensional, a little bit more believable. Like instead of it sitting flat on a piece of paper, it's sitting in an environment. It's kind of how you want to look at it when you do illustrations like this. You want to, unless you want that flat look, which there's definitely a call for that. I'm not really one to do that anymore. I mean, unless you're doing something like a shirt design or something that calls for it. Anyway, I'm babbling on here like I always do. Just throw some shadow in here. All right. Okay. Darn. Okay. Come on. Oops. We don't want that there. It's not bad. I do want a shadow up in here. And a slight shadow going like this. Some of you can't really see what's going on, and what I'm doing is I'm adding shadow, and I'm using a soft eraser to kind of pull that shadow away, feather it out so it's not so profound. And it doesn't look like it's doing much, but it really is. And it from my point of view, on my monitor, it is doing quite a bit. So shadow up a little bit. Too rough. Too rough a shadow. Unless that's the look you're going for, which definitely has its place. I've used more of a hard, what they call hard shadow. I've used that numerous times in comic strips. There's nothing wrong with it. But the look I'm going for with this one does not require hard shadows. I want soft shadows. Okay, let's see. Put a little bit of a shadow up underneath this wire here. And I gotta put one on the wire as well. Soften up in between. Put some here on these metal clips. And we will do a shadow on the bottom part of this wire. Now I can't really see this very well. Part of it has to do with the lighting here in the office. Some people, when they illustrate, they will turn the lights down. I don't like to do that. It's rough on my eyes. So I keep the lights up. That way I don't feel like it's straining my eyes. Sometimes when you turn the lights down, oops, we don't want the shadow going right there. We want it right. We're gonna kind of do something like that. Well, I was saying, straining my eyes. When I have I have the lights turned off or way down, and then I've got nothing but monitor blaring in my eyes, it gives me a headache at some point. My eyes are trying to strain from the light level around and light level that's beaming right into my face. Whoa. How did that happen? Learn to stop right there. Going to a new section. Stop. Okay. Alright. There won't be a whole lot of shadow going on around these headlights. Right here there will be a bigger shadow, and it'll kind of feather out down below. Gotta remember to clean that line up from underneath the car over there. Okay. Soften the edge. Alrighty. DMC. Okay. Okay, let's see. Yeah, right here on the tires. Actually, this is probably going to be all dark under here. It's under the car. And it's going to kind of feather out this way. There we go. Let's see. I need to clean up some of the color coming off the character's pants here because it is bleeding over. I don't want it to do that. Oops. There's not going to be a shadow under here. Man, I'm such a doofus. We will clean that up here in a minute. Okay. Something like that. And kind of feather it. That. Shoot. Gotta be careful with that. Oh, dang it. I hate when I hit the wrong button. Okay. This tires under the car. Almost all of this is going to be dark here. But not crazy amount. As we get closer to the edge, we want a little bit of light coming through to where it's adding a little bit of highlight. Don't want it completely dark under there, although in real life it would be, but that's right. Okay, let's change it up ever so slightly there. Okay, there we go. character is leaning on the car, so there is going to be some areas where it's going to be extra shadow. Help simulate the fact that he's actually really leaning on the car. Don't want to get too much going on there. Just enough. Ooh, let's bring that up a little bit. Bled over a little bit there. Now, this is the same color as the tires, but I'm not going to fiddle with worrying about putting shadow in there. I am, however, going to start adding some shadow in the car here. Best as I can. Soften that up a little bit. Now, there's a light in here, but we do want to create some kind of depth. So you do have to create some shadows in here. There will be some shadows where there is a lot of light. You want to put it in there to help give that box some more depth. Maybe, yeah, that's what we're going to do there. Soften that up just ever so slightly. And get some shadow going there. We'll put some shadow on the steering wheel. I'm not going to see it very well, but it will be there. Oops. Oh, no, I wanted that there. That's what I get for not paying attention. Yeah, put some shadow back in here. And definitely put some shadow on this part here. Now, on the steering wheel, I did make this up quite a bit. I just threw something together, something I thought would look cool. If you guys are going for realism, definitely pull as many reference images that you can. Keep in mind, if you're going for hyper realistic, then you're gonna draw. You want to draw what you see and not what you don't see. If that makes any sense. Now, normally I would do a bunch of different shadow layers, but since this is a fun illustration, I'm not so worried about it. Seems to be a little, I might be a little bit more careless. I don't want to say that because I don't want you guys being careless with your art, but I've had a lot of years experience, so I can be a little bit careless and still be able to pull off the look that I'm going for and not have too many people be able to tell. But okay, let's bump up this brush. not as young as I used to be. Can't sit a certain way. It hurts my knees. Actually, yeah, it's more like it. That's what we want right there. Some people would think I'm being kind of reckless with how I'm laying out the shadow, but because I have my eraser tool set up a specific way, I can be a little careless. And the cool part is it adds a lot of unexpected results, and that's what you want in your art. If you're too worried about how a line looks or anything else, I think you need to just take a deep breath and relax a little bit, because art's about being creative and having fun. So if you start getting too frustrated or irritated with your work, I definitely would suggest you taking a break. Take a deep breath and relax. It's meant to be fun, not stressful. Step away from your work. When I was creating this piece the other night while watching the Back to the Future trilogy on October 21st, 2015. One cool fact, it's my mom's birthday on the 21st, so she actually celebrated a birthday on the day they went to the future. Just kind of cool, isn't it? Let's see. Put a little shadow here. It's meant to be the door frame to the door. I know it's not like perfect, but I don't care. As long as it doesn't ruin the scene, we're good. Anyway, so I got the idea the other day. I thought about maybe doing a version of this and actually doing a cartoon version of Michael J. Fox and just sending it to him. And I still may, but I don't know. I'm sure he's. I don't know if I want to say honored, or I don't know if he's thrilled about the hype that he's gotten over the years. I don't know if doing something like this and sending it to him would make his day. So I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet, because all it would be is just me switching up the characters and just drawing a character for him. I may. You never know, he may enjoy it. I gotta tell you though, if I ever was in a movie or created something that so many people adore, I would really cherish the artwork and the letters and everything like that, because doing a movie or being in the limelight like that and creating something that people adore, I know people can get kind of weird. I don't mean that in a bad way, but just kind of, they're fans. Like, I'm a fan of Star Wars, man. if I ever met George Lucas, I would have all kinds of questions to ask him, and not like, you know, movie questions on how you did this or how you did that. You know, that's fine. There's people out there that are movie buffs and they want to know how things were done or shot. And I would personally just have a lot of questions about the universe that he's created, and that's what I would ask him. And I'm sure, since he's gotten a lot of those questions over the years, I'm sure it's, you can see he gets a little fidgety and kind of annoyed with it to a certain extent. I don't know. I think if I were in the limelight and I created something really cool, I wouldn't. I think I would like to think. Let's just put it that way. I would like to think that I wouldn't be annoyed or irritated with all the questions, and but you know, it's hard to say when 30 years goes by and you're getting asked the same question every single time. But I don't know. I guess that's kind of something that, anyway. So I don't know. I might create a version and send it to him. I don't know if he'd get it, to be honest with you. I don't even know how I would send it to him. I mean, digitally, I would send it to him, of course. But I don't know. You know, I don't know how I would. Maybe social media, maybe? I have no idea how I would do that. If anybody knows, feel free to chime in. Anyway, I don't know. A lot of what ifs. I don't know if he'd like it. I don't know if he'd appreciate it, and I don't know, people. I like my art, but I don't know if other people like my art, to be honest with you. Some of you are probably wondering, what are you doing? I'm trying to just create some extra depth in this car, and I need to do it subtly here. I did the doors wrong. I think I mentioned that. I did the doors wrong when I was looking at the... I actually drew... When I was drawing the DeLorean here, I was watching it on TV, and the movie, they flashed from scene to scene to scene of the DeLorean so fast, it's like, oh man. So I was drawing what I didn't see, right? You want to draw what you do see and not what you want to draw what you see and not what you don't see, right? So I didn't bother to pull up Google. I was actually just trying to enjoy the movie and just try to practice my drawing skills by drawing from memory. And how I remember how I visually see the DeLorean and you know what I was seeing on the TV. I was just trying to do more of a quick gesture drawing, I guess you want to call it, of the DeLorean here. But I did later on, you know, I have it pulled up. Oh, I don't have it pulled up right now. I had it pulled up last night, and I was kind of looking over the illustration. I'm like, oh man, I didn't botch it, but man, the doors are wrong. To a certain extent, they are wrong, but it doesn't make. The good part is it didn't change the overall look of my illustration, so I'm not overly worried about it. But it's definitely there. It's definitely noticeable. It's like, so any true Back to the Future fan's gonna be like, dude, you drew that wrong. Okay, I know. I'm not going for hyperrealism. Just enjoying the trip. Alright. As you can see, I'm getting in a lot of shadows going on here. Really trying to pull in the depth of this illustration here. Pull that depth in and make it really pop. Make it pop. Let's see. I do believe these are, I don't know. I do have a somewhat of a model. It's a little Hot Wheel here that my cousin got me. So I did use some of this as reference the other night, but looks like there's a couple grooves on the hood here. So we will make sure that comes through on the illustration here. All right. Don't want to do a whole lot of shadows on the front there, and the lights are on. Did some shadows there. Let's see. We didn't really put any shadows inside the cab here. There is no back window, at least from the little Hot Wheel I've got here, and I think from some of the reference shots. But I put a back window in mine. Again, this is kind of the way I wanted to do my illustration, so it's kind of a hodgepodge of different, I don't want to say different versions of the car, but it's just a hodgepodge of how my brain perceived the car when I was watching on TV the other night. We'll go back in and add some more shadows as we go. I'm just trying to get some of the bigger, more predominant shadows out of the way now. And then we could always go back in and do some touch-up shadowing. I mean, that's not bad. It's enough to really make the car pop. I don't want to go too crazy, because I will. That's just who I am as a person and as an artist. Tend to go over the top. Excuse me, I need a bit of tissue. Taking care of two sick little boys and a sick wife for the past 3 weeks is definitely taking its toll on me, and I'm starting to feel like my immune system is breaking down. Alright, now let's do some highlights. Alright, highlights. I like highlights. Oh, yes. Alright, so let's do a generic spotlight. Let's see. Kind of give it a warm glow. And then we'll do what's called a rim light. That'll be in the opposite direction. So maybe we'll do a where do I want the light hitting? Maybe we do a spotlight that hits this side of the car. Maybe. Let's see. Let's add an outer glow to really give it some dimension here. Okay. Take this brush all the way up. All the way up, I say. All the way up. Oh, that's too much. Too much! Too much, he says. Too much. Too much is too much. Yeah. I think that's too much. Yes. Alright. Just, it's the wrong color. Wrong color. Drop the opacity down. 75%. Let's see if that helps. Let's do, Let's do the highlight on this side, I think. Let's bring that brush size up. Let's see if there's a highlight there. Might be a little bit on the glass here. Bring it down, back down a little bit. Let's bring this brush down a little bit. And, oh, yeah, we got to get in here because there would be a little bit of a highlight there, I think. I don't know. I just run with it. Have fun with it, guys. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think as long as it looks great, that's what really matters. You know, if it looks awesome, looks great, that's what you want to shoot for. No, wrong way. Bring it down. Take it down. Take it down a notch, man. Take it down. A notch. I'm being silly. It's Friday. That's right, it is Friday, isn't it? Whoa, that's too much. Too much shadow going on, or highlight going on there. We just want a little bit. Okay. Yep. Put shadow, or highlight, shadow, highlight, stop messing it up. Put a little highlight in every once in a while here and there, nice and easy, nice and light, and then take the take that eraser tool and bring it on back. Bring it on back. Maybe we have a spotlight directly over the top. Maybe I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm just kind of running with it. Just seeing what looks good, what doesn't. Okay, maybe I'll put a little highlight back in here just to help. Okay. Does help. Does help a little. Let's see. Let's drop this down and let's get a little highlight going in on the character here. Get a little going on my chrome dome there. Chrome dome. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, eraser, bring it down, bring it down. Yep. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Yep. Put some on and take some off. Till it looks like it's a little bit balanced. Just a little balanced. Yeah. Get some in here. Nice and easy on the brush. Yeah, just nice and easy. I just noticed something. I need to bring back this shadow. It's a little too in your face. There we go. All right. Okay. Let's get a little highlight going here. Maybe. Let's see. Now that we're zoomed in, it'll be a little bit easier to get some highlights going. Bouncing off that car there. It is DeLorean. I believe it's made, the body of the DeLoreans were made of stainless steel. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they're going to have a little bit of a, they're not going to have a whole lot of reflection, but they will have a little bit of reflection considering it is made of metal. Metal, I say. The cover is made of metal. Metal, metal, metal. Made of metal. Alright, let's knock it back a little bit. Get some highlights in the seat, on the armrest. Whoa, not on the steering wheel right there. Alright, looking spiffy. Spiffy Biffy. My name's Biff. Alright. There we go. Let's get some in the wheels here. Let's get these things sparkling. Get these wheels a sparkling. There we go. There we go. Whoa, brush. I don't have the best quality video card in my workstation. I thought this one will do. I'm not going to give out brands, guys, because it's actually not a bad video card considering I am running 4 monitors off the video card, plus live streaming, plus doing this. The video card does take a hit. Because of all that, I don't want to, maybe I'll do a proper review at some point. Maybe not. Not really too, not really too sure if I want to, but I may. Get some highlights going in there where it's not being blocked by the character. Oops. Whoa, there. There we go. Video card is not liking what I'm doing. Not one bit. It says, "What are you doing to me?" Oh, one other section up here. We could put a little bit of highlight going. I don't want to do too much, but ooh, we will put a little bit up here. I may have to restart Photoshop here just to help give it a little bit of a boost. Sometimes it gets bogged down and I gotta restart it. Not the funnest experience, but experience nonetheless. There we go. Shadows, highlights are in. Makes it pop. That's what you guys want to do with your illustrations. Might have done a little too much on the highlights, but who cares? Looks cool. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, Photoshop is lagging like a mofo. Before any of you ask, I'm using CS6. I don't believe in renting my software. Sorry, Adobe. I know that you guys are really adamant about this new structure you're on, and I know you guys are probably getting tired of everybody complaining about this pay per month thing. I hope you are getting tired of it, to be honest with you, people shouldn't have to rent their software, especially what I have a problem with is that you guys charge more on the business side of things than you do on the consumer side of things, and I think that's just absolutely crazy. Businesses, if you're out there, not that I recommend renting software from Adobe, but if you're gonna get software, get the individual licenses, not business licensing. I don't care if they have better product support for business licensing. That's just jacked up, man. Just the whole system's jacked up. I know some of you would disagree and you like it better because you can afford it. What I have a problem with is I'm okay with the rental part because people want that's way of people showing support. But if somebody's paid so many months, you should release a version that they can download. They could have it downloaded onto their computer or download that version anytime they want. Granted, they won't get any future updates, so wherever the cutoff is for you guys, think about this. It cuts off, bam. The consumers paid in so many months. They've got this version for life. Okay, makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense is forcing people to rent your software. And if it keeps going down that road, I will promote other products. I have no problem. I'll go with companies that want to support artists that help build them, right? We help build you guys up from the ground up, and yet you turn around and do something very disrespectful to the art community by charging us a monthly fee. Same goes to you, Autodesk. It's the same thing. Any other companies out there you want me to point fingers at? This rent your software strategy is going to come back to bite you guys in the butt. And it's probably best that you get in front of it before it happens, because it's going to cost you more money in the long run when it does come back to bite you in the butt. Mark my words. Anyway, enough of the rant on that. 2 more things left to do on this illustration. Title and those water puddles. I want to do those water puddles. I want to do a really cool reflection thing going on. Alright, let's go ahead and save this, and I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and I will be right back with you guys. Okay, alright guys, I'm gonna mute the mic. I got some business stuff to take care of, and we're gonna continue on until this thing is done, because we are almost done. And it's finished. I am off for the night. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.